thanks for dropping by to Karen After 50. Today we are going to look at some colour correction that goes under the foundation, which helps you not to have to put so much foundation on. We're also going to put concealer under our eyes and then we're going to bake that. Now you might be able to see that my hair's blowing in the wind, and that's because it's quite warm here today. I've got the fan going. Anyway, we will get stuck into it. I'll just quickly run through the products that we're going to use, and I'll need my glasses for that. Okay, so the products that we're going to use are L'Oreal Nude Magic. This is our green colour correction, and the green colour correction goes over red spots. I've got the NYX Dark Circle Concealer, and the NYX, it's an orange, and so the orange goes over dark spots. I'm also going to use the e.l.f. products again, so that's the e.l.f. primer and the e.l.f. foundation. I'm also going to put on as an eyeshadow base, so this is a primer for your eyes rather than putting the normal primer on your eyes. You can put normal primer on your eyes, there's no reason why you can't. I just happen to have this, and because it's in a skin tone, it just gives me a little bit better base. The other thing that we will need is loose powder. This is a translucent powder by NYX, and it's HD Studio Photogenic Finishing Powder. So I'm going to use this. Okay, so the brushes that we're going to use, I've got a big fluffy brush with a pink top, and I've got a little pointy brush with a white top, and I've got a flat brush with a pink top. Now, I don't know what they're all called. Maybe I'll learn as we go along. I know this is a concealer brush. And lastly, I've got a little pink sponge. Now, this is not a beauty blender. This is a knockoff from Aldi, and it's damp. So let's get started. I've also got a mirror here in front of me because I can't actually see what's going on in the camera. So the first thing we need to do is get our primer on. And as I said, I'm going to use the e.l.f. couple of pumps, and we'll just get this on. Okay, primer's on. I'm sure you didn't need to watch that all again. So let's start with our colour correction. We're going to start with green, and I'm going to give this a quick shake. I'm going to squirt it on the back of my hand because otherwise I'll end up with too much. And I'm going to put this on with the little white brush. I've got my mirror here. I'm just going to use a little bit from the back of my hand, and I am going to dab it on to where I have redness on my skin. Now I just have a little bit on the side of my nose, and I think that's from wearing glasses. So it goes on with the brush, and then I use my finger to pat it out. So you don't want a lot on, it's just covering up those bits of absolute redness. If it's more of a brown, then wait until we use our orange colour corrector. So I've just got a few capillaries down here to cover. Now as you can see, it starts off as, now if you can see, it starts off as green. So there's the green on the brush, and it actually goes on and becomes a skin colour, which is interesting. I don't know why it does that, but that's what it does. Okay, I think I've got all my red areas covered. Alright, all red areas are covered. So the next thing we are going to do is go for the orange colour correction, and that's for the dark colours. I'm just going to give my brush a little wipe on my tissue here just to clean it ready for the next thing, and wipe the rest of that green off the back of my hand. Alright, now we're going in with our orange colour corrector, and as I said, the orange colour corrector is for the brown areas. Now you can use your fingers for this, but they make the pot that little you can't fit your finger in, so they pretty much make you use a brush. So I use a brush and then I pat it out with my fingers. Now my main areas for colour correcting with the orange is I'm very dark in the corners of my eyes here. And so I use the colour corrector for there, and just cover up those dark areas right round. Now if you're really dark under the eyes, you can take this right up under your eyes. Just be really careful with your eye area because, you know, your skin is pretty delicate, and mine is really wrinkled, so I have to be very careful that I don't end up with stuff in my wrinkles. Alright, so putting makeup on is about pulling faces. So we're doing under eye, we've got to do, okay, that's the face just stretching out your under eye. So the long face. Under eye area. Now the other place that I am going to put this orange colour corrector is over all of my sun damage marks, and I have quite a few. Alright, we have finished with the orange colour corrector. Dodge a lot of brown spots. Alright, that's all good and done. So they are the two areas that I have colour corrected. If you have blue or purple veins coming through, then you use a yellow colour corrector. And if you have yellowing areas, so maybe you've got a bruise that's gone a bit yellow, then you use a purple colour corrector. So when you see the trays of colour correctors, it should actually tell you what colour they correct. But for me, it's pretty much just the green and the orange. All right. So the next thing that I'm going to do is just put my foundation on. And again, I'll speed this up. I won't bore you. Okay, so that is my foundation on. So the next step is my eye area. I haven't put foundation on my eye area at all. Now I am going to start by just putting some primer on. I'm going to use my little brush that I used the colour correction with because it's around the same colour and I've given it a good wipe. So I'm just going to cover my eye area in this primer. And as I said, it's a skin colour. Make sure you don't get it into your eyebrow, and the same goes for your foundation. Try not to get your foundation in your eyebrow either because it makes your eyebrows go furry. But going back to what I said right at the beginning is we don't want too many layers. As your skin gets older, it gets thinner, and you don't want to look as though it's all clunked and cakey. Okay, so that's my primer on my eyes. As I said, it's a skin colour primer. The very next thing I am going to do is I'm going to put concealer under my eyes. So this is where it becomes a brightening agent. So we are looking to make our under eye area brighter. You don't just want flat colour all over your face. And I also take it down my nose in the folds here so they don't look as deep. I also put some along here, and that's just to brighten that area. When we come to putting things like a little bit of contouring and blush, you'll see that we have a light area, a dark area under our cheek, you have your colour, and then you'll have a highlight on top. And so that just gives your face a nice bit of, it looks like you've got that depth. Again, it's not changing your face, it's just playing with the light and dark of colours. Speaking of which, I'm starting to lose my light, so I best get a hurry on. It is a beautiful sunset out there. I'll just quickly show you. It's going to be a lovely summer. Oh, the light's playing a bit funny. Okay, let's see if we can do this before the sun goes down. I've just had to adjust the curtain behind me because the sun was shining straight through and I couldn't see a thing. Okie dokie. So what we are looking at now, as I said, is the concealer. And what we are doing is we're going to take the concealer. This one has a little sponge applicator, and we are going to put it on our under eye area. Now you can be fairly generous with it. Don't make a puddle, of course, and try not to get it too close to your eye. You don't want to be poking yourself in the eye with it. As I said, I take it right down my mouth. These are the areas that I want to brighten. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about brightening the face. And so just a little bit there and a little bit there. So they're the areas that I want to brighten. We're looking at our under eye area here. Now you want to work fairly quickly because you don't want this stuff to dry. I am going to take my little concealer brush and I am going to pat that in and get it up to my eye without poking myself in the eye. And I'm just going to pat that out into the areas. Now I also put it a little bit on my lip. I have some dark patches where there's some dark hairs, and even though I get them waxed, you can sort of still see where they live. And then, you know, as they start coming through, it starts getting a bit darker. And so I just put the excess across the top of my lip. Then I'm going to come in with the Beauty Blender and just blend the edges in here so that you can't actually see any sort of lines of where that product is. Alright, now as I said, you need to work fairly quickly. So what you want to do is you need to stretch out your under eye area. Now if you're like me and you've got a few wrinkles already, that concealer has fallen into wrinkles. Now what we're going to do is we're going to stop that by changing the consistency, and that's what we're going to do with this baking the under eye area. So we're going to set it with powder. So take your translucent powder or whatever powder you're going to use, get your Beauty Blender and it's damp, and you're going to put a whole heap of powder on your Beauty Blender. When I say a whole heap, I mean that you want a lot. So, and then take it and press it on where you've just put your concealer. And yes, I'm making a mess again, as I tend to, but that's okay. It's only translucent powder. Make sure that concealer hasn't already fallen into any lines or wrinkles. So yes, you end up with white underneath your eye. Alright, so now we're going to leave that to bake for about 5 minutes. It's been a few minutes, so what we are going to do now is get our big fluffy brush and we're going to brush that excess powder off. Oh, poke myself in the eye. Oh, wasn't meant to be easy. But we're right now. Okay, so without poking yourself in the eye, brush off that excess powder that's underneath your eye. I tend to then get the powder and use that to go over my face, so that sets your foundation as well. Where I had all of that powder is now just a lovely smooth area. The concealer hasn't fallen into my wrinkles. Of course, my wrinkles are still there. But when I pull my skin out, I can actually see that it's just a nice smooth cover, and it's all the same colour. So that's the point of doing the under eye baking. And that will help your makeup to not melt into your creases during the day or during the evening, particularly if you get warm. It just helps it not to melt. As I said, just use that excess to make sure that the rest of your face is nice and dry, that the foundation is not tacky anywhere, and again that will help stop that transfer of colour because the the powder has set it. Anyway, that's today's video. I'm running out of light. I have a beautiful sunset to look at, and I'll catch you next video. Thanks for watching Karen After 50. Please subscribe, as I've showed you in my last little tutorial. Go to the subscribe button, click on it, click on the notification bell so you don't miss any videos, and give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down depending on how you feel about my video. Or go to the comment section, scroll right to the bottom and leave me a comment. Thanks for watching Karen After 50. See you next time. Bye.